just kind of settle into what feels good for you. So I will ask that if you tend to cross your legs in a certain direction, to just kind of think about it for a sec and reverse the cross in your legs. And then just give yourself some room to really sit up nice and tall. Just a little bit of connection to your spine, to your core. Drop your shoulders. Relax your jaw, relax your face. And if your eyes feel like closing, great. I'm not going to force mine closed today. We do what we can. So we are going to be working today with some shoulder action. We're going to attempt some arm balancing depending on how we're feeling. And I posted all of this today on Instagram and Facebook about how arm balancing in particular is one of my absolute favorite practices. And it has been, I think, since I started practicing, honestly. And I also really love these bigger postures. I really like trying to get myself into split poses. I really like attempting to get these like big, beautiful balancing postures. And I don't think it's from a reason of like vanity and really just like, oh, a check mark, like, oh, I got it. I can put that in my book now. That I got that pose, that I can get into it. And, I like to think that it's not from that kind of point. What I really love about those type of practices is the amount of work that you don't see behind the scenes. And in particular, like that, those big arm balance practices, when I started yoga, I had carpal tunnel syndrome bad enough that they wanted to operate on my wrists. I had, problems with my back. I had problems with my neck. I had a knee that was all fucked up from a car accident. There was just a ton of things that I was coming to yoga for, to kind of fix and heal. So to know that I came from that point and am now at this point where I can stand on my hands and there's some really cool things that my body can do. The amount of work that it took to get there is the interesting part for me, not so much the pose itself. I really love knowing the amount that I had to kind of persevere through, and the amount that I got frustrated, the amount that I fell on my face, the amount that I kind of just like cursed in class from falling over. And then eventually you get into that pose and it's like, oh, okay. And then like nobody throws you a party or anything once you get into that big posture. And it's so funny because I see that on students' faces all the time, where I had recently like a very beginner that I was teaching. She got into crow pose for the first time after like a couple of weeks of her being like, this will never happen. And then she got into it and her face was like, oh my God, I did it. And I was like, that's really good. Let's work on the next thing. And she was kind of like, there's no balloons or anything, like there's no confetti for me. That really isn't the point of this practice. The point of the practice is the part in the middle. The interesting part of this practice is the amount of time that it took you and the amount of frustration and patience and determination it took you to get from point A to point B. It's not the posture. The posture is cool, great, awesome, but that's not the point of this practice. And I always compare it to like a really good book. So if you were reading like the book that I read every single night, Harry Potter, if you like open the book and it was like Harry Potter was born and he was left on the doorstep of the Dursleys, and then you flip the page and it's like, and then he defeated Voldemort. It's like, that sucks. That's a bad book. I don't want to read that. The cool part is in the middle. The cool part is the story, all of it, the action and adventure that it took to get to that end point. So when we're getting into these postures today, I don't want you to be so concerned with the end result. What I really want to concern you with is the journey that it takes to get there. And that's the point of this practice, is really the journey, the amount of time and effort that it takes to really get into this practice. So with that, let's close our eyes. Let's come on inside and we'll get settled. And if you haven't started to do so already, let's connect to our breath. And if it suits you today, you might try on your 3-part breath, filling up your belly, your ribs, your collarbones. And then with the exhales, lowering collarbones, ribs, and belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, collarbones. And exhale, collarbones, ribs, belly. So creating these kind of wave-like movements with your body, with your breath. And if 3-part breath doesn't suit you today, you just match your breath. So if you're taking 5-second inhales, you're also taking 5-second exhales. And settling into that intention to focus on the path, on the journey. We open our practice with the sound of Om. Inhaling deeply. Just allow your eyes to really softly float open. And all we're going to do to start is just lightly drop the chin to the chest. So right away, I feel some nice opening, some tenderness in this space between my shoulders. Just take a second to breathe into that. And then just really gently roll your right ear towards your right shoulder. And let that left side of your neck start to open up. And if you feel like you're not getting a lot of sensation here, you might take your right hand to just really lightly rest on the left side of your head. So if you notice carefully, I'm not like yanking my head over to the right side. The hand is just gentle pressure. Good. Release the hand, roll the chin back to the chest, coming to center. And then opposite, so left ear to left shoulder now. And then same thing, so feel first. This is like when your mom tells you to taste it first before you put any extra salt on your food. Feel this first before you go for that extra weight, because one side might be totally different than the other. Especially with our necks, usually one side is kind of injured or tight. And then if you spent the morning shoveling like I did too, one side's going to be a little funky. And then let's release the hand, bring the chin back to center. And then really gently just come over to your hands and knees. And you might just keep your chin kind of tucked to protect your neck. Moving into our cat and cow. So taking any support that you need as always. I'm going to support my knees. I'm just moving nice and slow with our breath. So we're only going to spend a few deep breaths in our cat and cow today because I kind of want to move into some different movement. So if there's anything that you feel like trying on, please go for it right away. And we'll take about 2 more deep breaths. And then just slowly make your way back to center, neutral spine. So let's stretch into our wrists a little bit. So if you're feeling tender in your wrists, fingertips point out towards the edges of your mat. If you feel like you could stretch really deep today, middle finger points towards your knees. So anytime that we're introducing like these more advanced postures, we want to make sure that we're kind of building up to them. So when you're resting weight on your hands, which we're going to try to do today, we want to make sure that we really stretch out first. If you feel that you could sit back a little further, try it, but don't force it. When your wrists tell you to stop, you stop. And then gently come back to center, flip your fingertips forward, and shake it out or roll it out, whatever feels better for your fingies. And then let's curl our toes under. We'll sit back towards our heels. So reach back, spread your toes just a touch wider. And just do a little bit of shifting into your seat. And arriving in your child's pose when you're ready. Take a few deep breaths there and really settle. So let your head rest down towards the earth, forehead meets the ground if possible. And then keep relaxing your butt back towards your heels. It's totally fine if it never touches your heels. But keep that traction in your lower back. Take the next breath or two to rise to your first downward facing dog. So take your time to really get there. Maybe you roll over the toes. Maybe you pedal out your legs. Another stretch that I've been really loving, you can stay with the pedaling out if you'd like to. You might come to downward facing dog. Take your right hand to the outside of your left ankle and twist. And then switch. Left hand to outside of right ankle, twist. And then we'll all find some stillness in downward dog. Take a moment and really lift through your seat. Let's walk the toes up to the front of the mat. Take little steps and heel toe if you can. If you can't, that's okay. And fold, let it go. Maybe shake your head out, yes. Shake your head out, no, there's the dogs. Nice little side to side sway. And then let's rise, one vertebrae stacking at a time. Nice gentle opening. And once you arrive, maybe give your shoulders some nice, really big rolls up, back, and down. Nice. Get grounded in your feet. I'm just going to move you back a little bit so you can see the top of me a little better. So I want to do a little bit of strengthening in our wrists. So first, just get really firmly rooted in your feet, really grounded in your mountain pose. Tuck your tailbone, hug your belly in. So take the arms out to cactus and spread your fingertips as wide as possible. So really activate so much in that space between your fingers that you start to feel it light up in this front part of your carpals. And then really slowly, with your exhale, curl into a fist. And then as you inhale, open back up nice and wide through the hands. And exhale, curl into a bear claw. So you're just curling at the knuckles. Inhale, open nice and wide through the hands. Exhale, curl into a tight fist. Open palm. Bear claw. Open palm. Tight fist. Open palm. Claw. Open. Fist. Keep it going. Open. Claw. Open. Fist. 2 more. Good. Make sure you're still breathing. Shoulders are pulling back and down. When you finish with that second fist, open the hands up nice and wide, spread. And then let the hands come down alongside. Shake it out. So shake it like a Polaroid picture. I'm just kidding. Shake it like you have no paper towels and you just wash your hands. And speed it up. Slow it back down. And then shake it on a hinge. So almost like you're very badly playing the piano. And then again, shake faster. And then slow it down. Nice. Release the hands alongside, reestablish your mountain pose. So really active now through the hands. I think my wrists are literally vibrating. And we get steady for our 4 rounds, Surya Namaskar. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring the hands together at heart center and connect. Feel all of that energy in your palms. And hold the intention for your practice today. Inhale, reach forward and arch. Open the heart. Exhale, float down, forward fold, let it go. Inhale to your half lift, fingertips or shins. Step your left leg back. Bring that back knee down, settle into your hips, look up. Find your plank pose. Shoulders and wrists in line, spread the fingertips wide. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra pose, tops of feet touch down. Downward facing dog. Remember, you can always visit child's pose. Pick up left foot, step it through. Help it if you need to. Use that left hand. Look up. Feet together, forward fold. All the way up, rise. To the heart. 3 more, reach back, inhale. Uttanasana, fold. Look forward, lengthen. Right foot goes back. Left foot to plank. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra, rising. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward, left knee down. Feet together, fold. Rising, strong, flat back. To the heart. 2 more, reach. Forward fold. Find that length, look. Left foot back. Right foot plank. Knees, chest, and chin. Hug those elbows. Cobra pose. Down dog. Left foot steps. Fake it till you make it. Feet together. Rising. Pranam. Good, last one with breath, reach. Fold. Lengthen. Right foot back. Left foot plank. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra. Dog pose. Right foot steps. Left foot steps. All the way up. To the heart. Return to your mountain. Take a breath. Nice. Feel the warmth, the heat now in your body. Let's bring it back to heart center, connect. Slow down. Inhale, reach and rise. Fold, let it go. Good, lengthen, look forward. Let's step our left foot back. Keep the back knee lifted, find your low lunge. If you're feeling a little rock back and forth, I always like that, you can go for it. And then hold a runner's lunge. So you're up on your fingertips. The heart is reaching forward, the back knee lifts. Slowly bring your back knee down and flatten out that back foot. Take the fingertips to interlace and press into that front thigh. Good, really settle, sink into the hips. So if you can't breathe, if you can't focus, if you feel like you're holding your breath or you can't relax at all, back out a little bit. From here, we're going to take the right fingertips to go directly up and bend that right elbow. So your right palm lands somewhere around where your neck and your spine meet. Your left hand comes up and gives gentle pressure to that right elbow. Good, take a last breath here. Press your head into that top arm. And slowly release. So press the front foot and step it in slightly. Reach your right fingertips forward, your left fingertips back. Inhale, find length in your spine. Exhale, reach forward. Right hand to the inside of your foot. Good, so remember, if you can't go this far today, that's fine. Take your elbow to your thigh instead. Almost like an extended side angle. If you feel like your shoulders are okay today, and you want to try out a bind here, your left hand, we bend that left elbow, we take the hand to the lower back. The closer down towards your right thigh it goes, the easier this gets. You take your right hand to go through the keyhole opening in your legs, and eventually your fingertips meet. Take one more breath. And gently break your pose, rise all the way up. Face forward, bring your hands together at the heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist to the right, bring the elbow to the outside of that knee. Press the hands together. Good. So there is a bind here too, but that one's a little tougher. You can definitely try it if you'd like to. I ate a whole bunch of hippies today, so we're gonna see how this goes. So instead, this outer arm, the left arm, goes through. So you have to do this kind of rotation, internal rotation. And then your right arm comes around to meet it. Oh. It's definitely tougher. Let's take one more breath wherever we are. Good. Hands come to frame your foot. Let's step back to downward dog. Remember, you always have the option here to stay. If you'd like to rock forward with me to plank, and then come on down, knees, chest, and chin. Cobra pose. And back to down dog or child's pose. We're going to take 5 breaths. So since we're talking a lot about hands today, hand placement in down dog and plank is really important. So you're spreading your fingertips really wide, but notice how my thumb goes out really far, like insane. Make sure you have equal distance between your fingers. Your middle finger points forward towards the top of your mat. You're lifting at the center of your hand. Good, let's step our left foot forward and find the lunge again. So again, you either stay with stillness or you do some gentle rocking forward and back. And then come to the runner's lunge. So front knee is over ankle, you're up on your fingertips. Hug your belly in, think cobra with your chest. Lightly touch your right knee down and flatten out that back foot. Come to interlace and press off of your thigh. So a couple breaths here to really just settle. And then let's reach the left fingertips up and bend that left elbow. Right hand comes over to help it. Gentle pressure on your left elbow, that's all. One more breath. Press into that front foot and step it back just a little bit. Left fingertips will now reach forward. Inhale for length. Exhale, reach. Left hand down. So again, all the options. Elbow to thigh. You can try out that bind again. So if you're seeing it from this side, your right elbow bends. Your hand comes close to your lower back. Left hand goes through and comes around to meet it. So make sure if you're in the bind that you're not like this. You want to keep peeling the heart open. Take another breath. And inhale, gently rise, reach. Face forward, hands at heart. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist to the left. So again, seeing the bind from a different angle, remember you are absolutely allowed to stay wherever you need to stay. But if you're trying it, we'll see this side's a little tough for me. Your right hand is going to come through. Left hand comes around. So binds are really hard to do when you're not in an open class because I can't tell you how far your fingertips are apart. And then let's slowly break our pose. Come on down and step to downward facing dog. So again, watch the placement of those hands. Middle fingers forward, lift at the center of the palm. Either stay or rock forward. Knees, chest, and chin. Cobra. And back to dog. Good, we're gonna say 3 breaths now. Nice and slow. We'll gently make our way into our pigeon. So your left heel gets grounded. Your right toes reach up. And we bend that knee. Let your hip just start to open, but keep the shoulders in line. Take a deep breath. Pull the knee forward towards the chest. Turn the knee towards the right edge of your mat and gently land. So if you need support here, let's take our blanket, fold it up, roll it up, and shove it underneath the hip. Walk your left toes back in as straight of a line as you possibly can, and then walk your hands in. Check on the alignment of this front leg. Your knee is pointed towards the right edge of your mat. Your foot is as close to your left hip as you need. Let's take a deep breath in. And exhale, move forward. So remember here that we want to take little side trips. So the biggest mistake that I make in my practice, I think, is always expecting that my body's going to go to the same spot every time. So anytime I get into pigeon pose, I'm like, oh, I could just go right down to my elbows. And then guess what? My hip hurts. So take your time. You may surprise yourself, but you may also need some more space, and either is fine. Remember that your practice is not any less because you can't go as far as last time. Let's take 2 more breaths. Let's slowly walk our hands back in and plant the palms. Curl your back toes and just give yourself a little bit of lift to move your blanket. And rise back up, maybe right back to 3-legged dog, maybe back to downward dog, and then we lift. And any movement that that hip requires. And then place the foot down. Notice the distinct difference between the sides. Right heel now is grounded. Left toes rise. Shoulders are in line with each other. We bend the knee and let that hip start to open. You might see your toes over or under your right arm. Let's pull it forward. And turn the knee to the left edge of your mat now. We gradually start to walk our right toes back in a straight line. When our hip says stop, we bring the support in. And then relax down. Hands slide right alongside you. Check in. Make sure you're not lifting one hip too much or the other. We're not leaning to the left side. And then let's walk it forward. Nice and slow. If your forehead wants to rest on a block, that's a great idea. And then notice if the quality of your breath changed. Can you bring it back to that slow, deep breath? Can you soften your hands, your jaw, possibly even your shoulders, and possibly, I'd love for you to soften your hips. Good, let's rise. Slowly coming back to your palms. Dig the back toes under and lift. And move the support off to the side again. Make your way back. Three-legged dog. Oh, shake it out. Make some circles. Take whatever movement feels right. And gently plant the foot back down and feel. Good, let's step our right foot forward now. And notice the difference now in your lunge. So hopefully hips are a little more open, a little more forgiving. We'll bring the back heel down to 45 degrees and come up to warrior two. So windmilling the arms out. Your right fingertips will be forward. The tailbone will be tucked. So find some connection here to your core too. And if your shoulders hurt you, rest them. Take one more breath here. Good, you're gonna straighten the front leg and turn the toes so that we're now parallel in our feet. And come all the way over to the left side now. So your left toes turn towards the back of your mat. And we turn so that we're back in our lunge. So we're up on the back toes again. This time, right toes. And then let's take it out to warrior two. So back heel comes down. And we open it up. So check in, this is a little thing that I just noticed that I was doing. Back foot should be parallel to the back of your mat, not turning, right? So my toes like to turn towards the back of my mat. We don't want to do that. Good, let's take two more breaths. Straighten the front leg. And same thing, turn to parallel. This time your hands will come to your hips. Take a breath. Inhale for length. Exhale, hinge forward, nice and slow. Good, release your hands down when you're ready. So your hands might come to the mat, or we might need a little extra height. So whatever you're doing, look at these fine details in your forward fold. So the outer edges of your feet are pressing down. We're lifting at the ball of the foot and tipping our weight a little more forward. We then soften at our knees a little bit and lift through the tailbone. One more breath. Good, so come to a half lift. Bring your hands to your hips. And inhale to gently rise. Use the breath. And then take an inhale at the top. Good. So we'll now turn the toes out slightly and come to bring the hands to your knees and bend into a goddess or like a horse stance. So you're really tractioning out your thighs here, and your shoulders can be hunched towards your ears. We just want to lengthen our neck out a little bit and feel this opening right along this nice big band in our inner thigh. Good. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, twist your right shoulder towards your left knee. Press the right thigh away with your hand. Take a deep inhale. And push out. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the right. So your left shoulder drops. We're pressing the left thigh away. Deep breath in. And out. We'll do it one more time. Back to center. Twist to the left. Center. Twist to the right. Center. Press. And release. Gently straighten the legs. Turn the toes parallel and take a breath. Nice. So feel a little more open in our hips now. We're going to make our way towards the top of our mat, however you'd like to get there. And give the legs a nice little shake out. So we'll work with some shoulder opening now. I didn't plan a fancy transition for this, so we're just going to come down to our butt and grab our husband's gross t-shirt or belt, strap, whatever you've got. So we'll take that support over our left shoulder and find that seat. So just like we started, you want some lift. We don't want to be too uncomfortable in our legs so that we can really focus in on our shoulders. Your right fingertips will reach up and bend the elbow. So just like we did with our Kapiasana, your left hand comes to help. So like that hand trick that we did with our neck stretch, this isn't yanking, this is gently pressing. We then take our strap, t-shirt, whatever, into our right hand and reach the left arm out, palm faces away, bend the elbow, and bring the hand to grab. So start with a lot of room unless you know where you can go here. Eventually your fingertips walk closer and closer together. So a fun little thing that I like to do is I like to think that I'm super relaxed in my shoulders. And then I realize that I'm like digging my fingernails into this strap. So we don't want to do that. Relax your fingers. And then relax your toes. So kind of catching these little areas of tension. Maybe close your eyes. Let's take 3 more breaths. And we'll slowly, gently release it. And on your way, if you can drape over your right shoulder now, that's great. And just release and do whatever you need to do in between. So I just kind of like to rest for a moment, let some blood flow come back into my hands. and then left fingertips. So we reach up and bend that left elbow. Right hand comes over to help it. So again, it's a gentle pressure. There's no force. And then let's take that strap into our left hand. Right hand reaches out, facing away from us. Bend the elbow and grab. Close your eyes, sit up tall. And you might even press the back of your head a little bit into that top arm. You just want to make sure you're not jutting your chin forward. Make sure you're not digging your fingernails in. Your feet are relaxed. Three more breaths. Good, let's slowly release, unwind. And again, that nice pause in between. Nice. So we'll come from here into one of two options for an arm balance. So if you hear me say the arm balance and you're like, great, that's the one I want to go with, and you already know what you're doing, go for it. If you would like to watch what I'm doing first, I'm going to show you both options. You can try both on. You can stick with one. You can lay in child's pose. That's all fine. But at least kind of look and notice the body awareness and what kind of muscles we need to engage to get into this. So your first option is our crow pose. So crow, most of you guys have seen me do already. You can start from your chair or you can start from your squat. So if you're going from chair, we bend, the hands come down, and we separate the knees. Okay. If you're coming from squat, feet go out about mat's distance. They turn out slightly. We bend and find the squat first. So from the squat or from your chair pose, hands go to about shoulder distance. Remember what we said about our hands in down dog? It's going to be the same thing here. We rock our weight forward and lift the seat. Walk the toes together. So this might be your practice today, and that's awesome. Stay right here. Eventually, we tip our weight forward till we come right up to the tippy toes, and then eventually those toes lift. And we pull them up towards our butt. So you might try that on. You might try Titibhasana. So Titibhasana is a little harder. Took me way longer to get into, but it is fun to try. So this one is a little more precarious. Your feet are still going to go out to that about max distance, and you bend into your knees. So almost like you're taking like a wider chair pose kind of. Your hands come through the middle, and your fingertips come down behind your toes, or behind your heels rather. So you're starting up on your fingertips, and this is where this gets hairy. So middle fingers pointing towards your heels, not fingertips pointing back. And then we have to trust ourselves enough to rock our way back onto our hands. So you're essentially putting your weight on your elbows, and then eventually you lift the toes. So one or the other,
child's pose or kind of free time. You can try on whatever you'd like. If you want to see that again from a different angle, because that is a tough one. So nice and wide with our feet. Hands go behind. So notice I start up on my fingertips, and then as I put my weight back, then my hands come down. You have to really trust yourself. And then the toes lift. So you're putting the weight here. So give yourself a couple of shots. We'll take like the next minute or so. And then when you are feeling like you're done, come to your back. And maybe your feet just kind of go wide and your knees knock in towards each other. And we rest, and I feel our heartbeat start to slow down. And we gently move into our inversion practice. So I'm going to go ahead and say that if you're feeling done, that was a lot of work. Legs straight up is a great option. If you're lucky like me and you have a chair in the room or an open wall, scoot your butt against the chair or the wall and then lift your toes. And take the next, let's say, minute or so to focus in on that intention. Not worried about what the end result was. Not worried about if we got our feet off the ground. But how did your practice feel? What did you overcome today? Arm balances are scary. You're trusting that you'll be able to hold yourself. So maybe you drummed up the courage to even try. Let's take 3 more breaths. And we'll slowly lower ourselves down. So I'm just going to bend my knees and lightly touch the soles of the feet to the earth. And take a breath. Hug the knees to the chest, wrap your arms around, squeeze. Gentle side to side rock. And then let's take our final twist, reclining. I'm really feeling that today. So releasing the soles of your feet down again, we're just going to swing the hips a little bit more to the left. Bring your knees down to the right. If you want to go further with this, extend your right leg. You might close your eyes. Let's gently switch. So we'll come back to center. Plant the soles of the feet. And swing your hips now to the right. Bring your knees to the left, or you extend your left leg and just the right knee crosses over. Take one more breath here. And we'll slowly move back to center. Scoot your hips back to the middle. So I'm going to give you about the next 30 seconds or so to either make your way right into your Shavasana or try on anything that you think I missed that you feel like doing. Forward fold, a little extra twist to each side. You didn't do shoulder stand today, so I skipped fish pose. Maybe you really like that one. And take about, let's say, the next 2 breaths or so to get comfortable for our rest. Big surprise, I went over an hour. All right, so get yourself settled. Close your eyes. And just begin by taking in the deepest breath that you can. So inhale, really expand through your chest. And let it go. Inhale, expand through your belly. And just slowly bring your breath back to its natural rhythm. And then just let the breath be passive. Begin to notice any and all sensation in your body. And then as you're scanning, also notice these areas of tension. Tenderness, tightness. Can you allow your body to get heavier, softer? Maybe you relax the entire length of your legs. The arms, spine. Belly and chest. Your neck.
your face, unclenching your jaw. And as we drift, we focus a little bit of attention on the intention for our practice. To recognize the parts of your journey that make it interesting. To recognize that no one's path is easy. And no one's path is free of obstacles. Very gradually, bring some soft awareness back to the rise and fall of your chest. Notice the quality of your breath and then start to deepen it. In your own time, begin to move, starting small, fingers and toes. And then gradually, the movements get bigger. We might start to roll our wrists, roll our ankles, stretch, move. And when you're ready, roll over to your right side and cradle your head there for a second and really find this final moment in gratitude for your body, for every single thing that you did with it today, not just in this practice, but outside of it. And gratitude for the path, gratitude for your obstacles, gratitude for all the work that it took to get you right where you are. We'll make our way up to our comfortable seat and draw the hands together at heart center. And closing our practice together with the sound of Om and 3 Shantis for peace. Inhale deeply. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bow forward to seal your practice. As always, I thank you for your efforts, your intentions, for allowing me to be with you on this path that you take. Namaste.